Hello everyone, and welcome to Icky Chic Designs. As you know, on my Etsy shop I have started to provide kits, and with each kit I'm going to do a walkthrough video, and that way you can see how I constructed this item, and that might help you when you're putting yours together. This is a slow stitch embroidery kit, kind of in between that and a little bit of fiber art thrown in there with it. And this is conducive to beginners because I only use basically 3 stitches in this, and but anybody who is intermediate or more experienced can certainly add a variety of stitching as they go. This is sized a 6 by about a 7, and it's on a background piece of muslin. And the kit will come with everything to do all these elements. Now I'm going to have an original kit, which is exactly the elements you see here, and then I'm going to have 2 or 3 alternative kits, same image, same elements, but I will include different fabrics and trims and embellishments so that you can create something totally different from my original, and use your own imagination using those elements that come in the kit. Now, when I put this together, it comes with a hand-drawn pattern like this that has the owl shape, the tree branch, and 2 size leaves, and that's pretty much all you need. Everything else is just kind of free cut and put on there. Now the owl, the branch is what I put on first. I put the branch on and the 2 leaves, a leaf here and a leaf here. I'll be raising this up so you can see that a little better. This leaf and this leaf, and the branch. I put that on first, and then I did some stitching around those elements, just some straight line stitching here, some cross stitching around this one, straight line stitching there, and just running stitches on that little leaf. Then I put the owl on there, and I did running stitches around it, and just through the body a little bit to make sure that it's all tacked down good. And I did that with embroidery floss, and I always use basically 2 strands of embroidery floss when I'm working with it. And every once in a while I might use more, but not very often. The next thing I did was I embellished the owl. In the kit you'll find these little circles that work perfectly for the eyes. And then I took a little silver metallic thread that has tiny little sequins on it, and I laid it around the edges, and I just simply stitched over it or couched over it the thread so that it would stay in place. I left the little ends hanging on the edges, just I didn't cut them flush, so they kind of look like eyelashes to me anyway. And the other thing I did was, for the owl, I wanted to make this one where I could rough him up on the edges, so I used a very loose weave fabric that will be in the original kit. And when I got through, I just stitching on the edges, I took a needle and just pulled out the threads on the edges so that I could create this fringe or ruffled, tattered edge around the corners, edges. Then I put the little triangle, I just cut a triangle and put it on for the nose and stitched it on. This little tuft of hair is a little piece of a yarn tassel that will be in your kit. And then on the right here, this little yellow part, that's a little bit of decorative yarn. Let me hold it up so you can see it a little better. Okay. Then I put French knots in the center of the eyes. Okay. Then I came down, and with this piece of trim here, I laid that around the bottom of the owl, overlapping the branch. And I simply tacked that down with a running stitch, so make sure that it was adhered good. Then I placed the flower on top of that with the bead, attached the bead with a little, what am I trying to say here? Well, this little stitch, the same that's in the eye, I can't remember the name of it right this minute, but anyway, I attached that in the center. And then some just running stitches on the outside edge. Okay. Then I took two kinds of fabric, cut little tiny pieces, and just tacked those, layered those up, and tacked those so that they just gave the illusion of more greenery around there. Okay. And French knot, that's what that little thing is. All right, and then I did some twine that I had, and I did French knots out here. A little bit bigger, changed the texture a little bit, okay? So after that, then I did just the running stitches with the different embroidery floss colors. It's a light blue in here and a darker blue here. Then over here, I did some cross stitching and straight stitching with the green. All right. Of course, I did some stitching on this leaf here. So that's how I put that together. It's very beginner friendly because, like I said, there's only a running stitch, a French knot, and a cross stitch that I used. If I use plain thread, of course, that's simply to tack with. I don't use it as a decorative element normally, but if I do use plain thread, I will use normally something along this shade of quilting thread, because quilting thread is very strong, as you know. One, you don't have to double it. One strand is enough for the strength you need, and I like that because I know it's not going to break on me when I'm doing this. Now, people often ask, well, what do I do with this? I'm going to frame this little one and give it to one of my great-granddaughters, and so they make great gifts, but it would really look cute in the front of on a pillow cover. It would really look good covering a junk journal, things like that. You could sew it to a guest towel just for decoration in your bathroom. You can think of so many different things that you could use this for. It's really a little piece of fiber art, but we get to play with our just hand stitching, our slow stitching. Take your time. Work on it when you can, de-stress, but make something beautiful while you're working on it. Like I said, I will have some kits that will be original kits, and original means they will have the same elements as the photograph that's on my listing in Etsy when I get ready to list these. The alternative kits will have different fabrics and embellishments, but they will have the same template for the owl and the branch and the leaves. They'll just be different color combinations and embellishments to work with. Sometimes the person does it like this is like in neutrals. Maybe you're not fond of neutrals, so I'm going to make some kits in 2 or 3 more different color tones to help those who want to do this, but they don't particularly like this color. Okay, so I will be making, this is my new project for my Etsy shop in 2023, along with making bohemian style textile jewelry. And so I will be uploading kits as I go along through the year. I will always make a prototype original so that I can make you a walkthrough video, and you can have that for referring to when you're working yours. If you're not sure what element to start with, I can tell you how I put mine together and what worked and what didn't work. This time, everything that I did work really well by putting the branch and the leaves in first, then the owl, and then working the embellishment here. That allowed me then to go down here and work this embellishment. And we're not always trying to hold on to an area we've already worked, which sometimes can mess it up. So that worked out really well. And it also allows you to layer it properly. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough, and you'll try some of my kits. And also, if you like them, please tell your friends about them. Till next time, this is Linda at Chic Designs.